Hey guys, it's Jonathan here. Welcome to another episode of the Set Sail video blog. And this week we're going to be looking at a pretty huge topic, and that is how to learn and get good at anything. If you've been a subscriber here for a while, you'll know that we like to make videos around different creative topics like music and design and filmmaking, etc. But I do think this video is going to apply to pretty much anything that you want to learn or any skill that you want to get good at. Okay, are you ready? The key to getting good at anything is practice. Now some of you guys are probably thinking, oh great, I thought this was going to be some big secret. We already knew that you're supposed to practice things. But we're not just going to leave it there. We're going to dig into how to practice and how to practice effectively, and also different ways of practicing to be able to grow in what you do and get better at what you do. So last week I spoke to my friend Caleb, who is the drummer from Rivers and Robots and is also studying at the Royal Northern College of Music. So he's got a really good practice routine going. So I thought it'd be interesting to have him share about the types of practice that he does and give a few tips. So here's the interview.
Practicing is making mistakes and trying stuff out, really. If your practice sounds good, then you're not practicing. I break it down to three things, really. There's those stuff I call maintenance practice, the stuff that I call creative practice, and then I also put listening as a practice skill. Maintenance practice is kind of just the stuff that you just have to do, those boring stuff like fingers, all that kind of stuff. Say if I'm having lunch and just having like an hour and I'm watching TV, so I would just do that as well alongside it. Creative practice is normally the stuff that I don't really know how to play, like I'm not good at. So like jazz, that may be jazz, swing patterns, different coordinations. I try to practice every day. Creative practice could be, anywhere from 2 hours a day to 4-5 hours, depending if I have time. A good tip to make it creative is play whatever you're playing, but to your favorite tunes, to music, because ultimately that's where you have to bridge the gap between, learning this as a rudiment and playing it music. It's very different. So, just be really creative with how you practice, and the main thing, enjoy and have fun. You gotta enjoy practicing, and you see practice as not as like a thing that you have to do. You see it as a thing that you want to do, and because you want to get better. All throughout the day, just listening to music, different kind of music, stuff that I wouldn't necessarily like or haven't heard of. Listening, because you do a lot of mental practice as well while you're listening. Think of it as learning a language. You have your vocab, grammar, all that kind of thing, and then you learn to make a sentence, and then after that you write a paragraph or write an essay. But ultimately how you use it is you have a conversation with someone, and then once you do talk to people, you can use it. Same thing with music. When you play, you can communicate, you can bring ideas out, you can, have more things to say.
So I thought that was really interesting, and I love the three different things that you pulled out there of like maintenance practice, just kind of regularly brushing up on the things that you already can do, creative practice where you're kind of pushing yourself and trying to do things that you can't do at the moment, and listening. I think that's really interesting because a lot of the time we think we have to be doing stuff all the time to be practicing, but listening is actually a really good way to practice, and mentally you are training yourself by thinking, how would I play this and how would I do this? And the same thing applies for myself as a graphic designer. I may not listen to design, but I can go and look at design. I can go and look at design blogs or read some books, go to museums and take in various designs and look at the things that I think are really well made and actually dig into why do I think these are well made and what is it about them that appeals to me. Even that listening side of practice I think can apply to pretty much anything. And some people feel a bit intimidated by trying to learn something new because there's this whole idea that to become an expert at something is going to take 10,000 hours, and people probably think, well, I don't have 10,000 hours, how am I going to do that? The thing is, it doesn't take 10,000 hours to become competent at something. And if you want to learn something for the first time, there's actually a really interesting TED Talk by a guy called Josh Kaufman, who has done some studies on learning new things, and he reckons that you can go from not knowing anything about something to being pretty competent at something in 20 hours. 20 hours breaks down to about 45 minutes a day for 4 weeks. So if you can find the time to do that, you can learn a new skill. And then when you feel like, yeah, I think I'm grasping this, I think I'm understanding it, then start to bring in these things of maintenance practice, creative practice, and then listening or reading or whatever that might be for your thing of practice. And the final little nugget that I wanted to talk about was something that I heard a guy called Tim Ross speak on at a youth conference that I went to last year. He was talking about how to grow in your spiritual disciplines like reading the Bible and prayer. And one of the things he said was really important was this idea of repetition. And if you want to learn something and get better at something, you have to repeat it. And it's kind of similar to the gym, right? So say you want to strengthen a muscle, you might do a simple lift, and you could just use a lightweight one thing, but you repeat it over and over. And then each time you do it, you might repeat it more, you might increase the weight, but you're strengthening that part by repeating the same thing. And it's the same thing with practice. You repeat the same thing over and over again and you start to improve at it and get better at it. So when it comes to trying to get a routine of reading the Bible and praying, he said just start really simple. Just say, I'm just going to read one verse every morning and I'm just going to pray for like 30 seconds. Anyone can pray for 30 seconds. It's just like, Lord, thank you for this day. You're really good. Thank you for my shoes. Help me to do really well at school today. Anyone can do that, and then the more you do it and you're repeating it every day, you're starting to strengthen that part of your life and that routine and that habit, so that next week you can step up the time and the week after you can do a bit longer, and before long you'll be in a really good Bible reading routine and be really strengthening that prayer life. So that's all for this week. I hope you guys enjoyed it and found it helpful. I'd love to hear from you guys as well. Like, what are the things that you're trying to practice and grow in this year? What are some of the techniques you're putting in place to be able to do that? And we'll be back next Friday with another video. See you then.